Hi there. We're here with Morning Flow. We'll get going in about a minute. All right. Welcome everyone to our Morning Flow class. We're here as we are most Wednesdays. My name is Mark Cormier and my wife is Kathy Cormier. And feel free to practice with us right now, and this will also be recorded, so you can certainly practice some other time. So, are you ready, Kathy?
I am.
All right. Why don't you claim the mat? Anything you'd like to work on this morning?
Staying calm while being tired.
Staying calm while being tired. Okay. So let's work on
I mean,
that.
for my work day,
For your work day.
once I'm done with yoga.
Because yoga is always calming, not necessarily. Great thing about yoga is that it might not necessarily address the particular situation you're looking to address. Having said that, the side effects tend to be beneficial.
Exactly.
All right. So we'll work. I think it will work in some belly breaths.
Oh,
So actually, let's start on our back. That might be a little bit more calming. So, and let's start on our backs. And we'll do the centering sequence in a little bit. But let's start in a laying down figure 4 shape. So,
I'm just trying. This is perfect because I can bring myself with our
There you
hands
go.
in the camera.
yeah. So draw a knee into the heart. You're going to cross an ankle over a thigh when you're ready. Reaching through, catching thigh or shin as you draw that knee in. So thread the needle. Yeah, that's it. And then as you thread the needle, I'd like it just to gently rock your body side to side. You're starting to let that low back release. Sometimes we sleep a little weird, so just...
Oh, this is something you can do when you wake up in bed.
Absolutely, you can do this in bed. A couple more rocks each way. Let's be real careful with our knees here. So I'm going to ask you to unthread the needle, so releasing the thigh or the shin, grinding down through this foot here. And you want to keep this foot flexed as you bring the ankle off of the thigh. That's going to engage the muscles around the knee, keeping that connective tissue supported. When you grind down through that foot, awesome. You've already found your belly breath. One hand on the belly, one hand on top. As we hold the belly breath here before we do our second side, just letting the warmth of your hands penetrate through to the very center of yourself. Letting the warmth of your belly penetrate out through the back of your hands. And then when you're ready, finding that thread the needle on your second side. So drawing the other knee in. Other ankle crosses over. Is that the same side?
No, I thought it was, but
Okay,
this is different.
And then threading the needle as you reach on through, catching the thigh or the shin. Giving yourself the exact right amount of traction that's right and good for you. And then when you're ready, just gently rocking it from side to side. Just releasing that low back. Noticing any knots or tangles that may have crept into your back overnight. And if there are no knots or tangles, awesome. Just enjoying relaxing on your back, rocking from side to side. Rocking tends to be very relaxing to our nervous system. And then we'll start to move on here. So coming back to center, unthreading the needle. We'll be super careful with our knee here as we grind down through the foot. Top foot stays flexed as we bring it off of the thigh. Grind it down through 2 feet, one hand on the belly, one hand on top. And just finding your belly breath. Letting your hands rise and fall as you breathe. And this is one of the most relaxing breaths in the yoga canon here. let's bring our hands by our hips, palms face down. And I want to support the action of the legs. So I'll ask you to press your back into the mat to engage your core. As you draw one knee into the heart, and the other knee follows. Now hands catch the shins. And we can do that same rocking motion side to side, front to back, little circles, whatever feels right and good for you. You can't clean the carpet while we're here, not with the screw. That could be dangerous. Thank you. And now I'll ask you to reach back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin, keeping your neck relaxed. Yeah, use your hand to do the tucking of the chin, keeping the neck relaxed. Keeping the chin tucked, other hand comes back to the shin. Yeah, we're going to roll like a ball here. So you're going to have two hands on two shins. Yep. You're going to find C-spine, so a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin. You're going to start to rock it front to back as you massage your spine. Yeah. Only going to the shoulders. You want to keep the neck happy. Maybe get a little bigger, yeah. And if you can keep the hands on the front of the shins, it'll be more of a core experience. You'll have less leverage with those legs. And then a little core engagement, a little momentum, you're going to pop on up and find a cross-legged sit. And I'll ask you to face the camera. Grounded down through both sits bones. I'll invite you to bring the heels of your hands to your thighs. You're going to push the thighs away as you settle the shoulders, sitting up a little straighter, a little taller. A slight tuck of the chin as both hands find the heart. Starting our centering practice here, just watching as your breath flows in and as your breath flows out. Arriving here on our yoga mat, ready for our morning yoga practice. From this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation in, followed by a long, slow exhalation out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the top of your chest, the base of your belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your body. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage your core as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out. More importantly, that core engagement, that abdominal engagement, provides structural support for your spine. To this deeper, fuller breath, moving towards a go-to breath in many flow practices, the Ujjayi, the victorious breath, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice this morning, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, often compared to the sound of the ocean as the waves wash in and as the waves wash out. Two more details before we start to connect breath to movement. One of the definitions of vinyasa, of flow. Tip of the tongue finds the hard palate just behind the teeth. Keeping that tongue loop throughout the practice, a great way to relax your jaw, and a great way to connect front and back planes of your body. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, lifting the chin tall through the crown if you closed your eyes, opening your eyes. And I'll ask you to find all fours position on the mat, and I'll ask you to go sideways so folks can see your spine. Grounding our hands solidly down upon the mat. Let's start with neutral spine. So the back of your head is going to be in line with your sacrum. Just feeling what neutral spine, just feeling what our base is. And then from neutral spine with the breath, let's find a cat-camel combo. Breathing in as we arc the back. Breathing out as we round the spine. Breathing in, lifting up. Breathing out, rounding it in. Keep going like this. I'll ask you to visualize a ball on top and a ball underneath. And you're rounding up and over the ball underneath. Up and under the ball on top. So even though we're finding flexion in the spine on both sides, We're still finding some space in our back. I always think of an inchworm on a playground ball, kind of crawling around the circumference of that playground ball. Your spine is the inchworm. So let's add a child's pose into the mix, breathing in, finding an arc to the back. As you round the spine, big toes touch, sits bones back to the heels. Inhaling up, finding your arc, yeah. On the exhale, drawing it back as you find your arch. And keep going like this a few times. Breathing in, arcing the back. Exhaling, arching. So even more of a tuck of the tail, I think, yeah. So really tuck that tail, really work that low back. Breathing in, finding your arc. Breathing out, now really tuck the chin, really tuck the tail. There it is. And then send the sits bones back to the heels. Let's do it one more time. Breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, drawing it back. That's it. Now let's add the side to side. Breathing in, coming up center as you arc the back. And now rounding the spine as you draw it back towards one heel. Doesn't matter which one. On the inhale, finding the arc. And then taking it back to that other heel. And let's do it a few more times. Keeping it loose, keeping it liquid, being with your body just as it is, right here, right now. Inhaling up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Let's do it one more time each side. Breathing in, coming up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Inhaling, lifting up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Let's work a figure eight into our mix here. Inhaling, coming up center, drawing it back to a heel. Keep the hips low as you find the other heel, up on the other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips and back to first heel. And keep going like this direction. Inhaling up. Exhaling, drawing it back. Breathing in, lifting up center. Exhaling, drawing it back as we trace that figure eight. Let's do it one more time in this direction. Breathing in. Breathing out, taking it back. Now up on the other diagonal, shifting shoulders and hips in back to second heel. That's it. And yeah, you find that figure eight. Inhale it up. Exhale, drawing it back. Inhale it up. Exhale, taking it back. And let's do one more on your time with your breath. And after you're done with that iteration, we'll invite you to find an all fours position on your mat. Getting to our down dog with the cat camel. So breathing in, arcing the back. On the exhale, tucking the toes, rounding the spine, lifting the knees, tailbone high, high, high. And then as you push into the hands, finding your flat back as you stretch those heels down again. As we hold this first down dog of the practice, I'll invite you to walk the dog as you bend one leg deeply and then the other. Just stretching it out. Yeah, that's more marching the dog, which is awesome. Yeah, there it is. It's a little bit of a different stretch. And then from this place of movement, moving back towards stillness, long arms, long legs, long spine, deep full breath. Either keeping the neck relaxed and the head super, super heavy, or long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. Even though there's no overt movement, you're still breathing, your heart's still beating, your mind's still moving. And by focusing on your breath, finding a little more space between each breath, each beat of the heart, each thought. Tail end of a breath, bending the knees ever so slightly to lift the tailbone a little higher, more space in the low back. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way front. Awesome, nice jump. Take a breath to find length. Hands can cap the knees as you arc the back. On the exhale, hands can catch the back of the shins as you round the spine. Inhaling, moving towards a flat back, arms out to the side and then overhead. And on the exhale, hands by your side. I'll ask you to face the camera here as you bring hands to the heart. A light press your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. A slight tuck of the chin as your weight collects in your feet. Coming back to that focus on our breath, watching as it flows in and out. And then lifting the chin, tall through the crown. I'll ask you to go sideways, sun salutation A, our traditional warm-up exercise. So once you go sideways, yeah, there you go. On the inhale, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, finding your forward fold, leading with the heart. Inhaling, hands cap the knees as you arc the back. On the exhale, catching the back of the shins as you round the spine. Now grounding down through the hands and making your way back to down dog, either cycling through vinyasa or just stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. And vinyasa just means connected movement. Classically, it's the push-up into the back bend and then back to down dog. There's lots of other ways to move through space. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands, lots of space between each finger, grounding down more predominantly between the thumb and the forefinger as we draw the energy up the inseams of the arms. Shoulders engaged, either keeping neck relaxed and head heavy, or making your drist, your eye focus, your navel. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher. And then looking between the hands as you step, or maybe take that jump front. Beautiful jump. Take a breath to find length as we arc. On the exhale, rounding the spine as we fold. On the inhale, hinging at the hips, moving towards a flat back, leading with the back of the heart, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, hands by our side. Second one, just like the first, I'll ask you to stay sideways there. Inhaling, arms up and over the head. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Inhaling, finding an arc to the back. On the exhale, finding an arch as you ground down through the hands, making your way back to down dog as you will. Take your time, flowing with your breath, finding your flow. Here's the back bend, nice. And then stretching it back to down dog and hold it. As we hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in. And as your Ujjayi breath flows out. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale. All right, little back bend at the top. Neutral spine, hands by your side. Awesome. Sun Sal B, I'll ask you to stay sideways. We'll do it flow style. Starts with a chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, glutes engaged to support a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length as you arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as you fold again. And then grounding down through the hands and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Your choice. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes for a nice Achilles tendon calf stretch. And then looking between the hands as you bring that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head for our warrior one. And then riding your exhale back to low lunge as you spin that back heel up. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Your choice. From down dog, second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. High on the right toes for a nice Achilles tendon calf stretch. And then looking between the hands as you bring that left foot through. Spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head. Awesome. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog, as you will. Bill Leach says, morning, Kathy.
Morning, and everyone.
Awesome. So we'll hold down dog for a bit. Say 3 or 4 breaths. And anytime we're in any shape, you can either hold it in stillness, seeing what arises, or maybe add a little swing, a little sway, a little micro movement, just stirring it up a little bit. If you chose to add that movement, moving back towards stillness, from down dog, long smooth breath in, long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, hands overhead pose. And then finding our chair pose. Exhale, taking it lower. Thank you, Kathy. On the inhale, rising on up, a little back bend at the top. On the exhale, neutral spine. Hands by your side. I'll ask you to face camera here. Hands find the hips as we either step or jump our feet hip width apart. On the inhale, arms up to one side. On the exhale, bending the knees, passing the hands through center. I'll invite you to give your wrists a little flick. And another side. With the breath, short, sharp exhalations out through the nose, your fire breath. A couple more each way. And then back up. And either stepping or jumping it back. Sun salutation C, an extended standing pose sequence. Excellent, thank you for going sideways. Starting with our chair, inhaling. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Inhaling, finding length as you look up. On the exhale, rounding the spine as you ground on down, making your way back to down dog, as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. So to our 3-legged dog sequence, we're going to add a hip opener. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Now keeping that right shoulder just as it is. Lifted leg straight as we stack the hips, and we're going to hold for a breath. And try to keep that shoulder down. Now bending that top leg, we'll hold that for a breath, just seeing how that hip feels this morning. And now looking between the hands as we bring that right foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms up and over the head for a warrior one. In warrior one, I'll invite you to bring hands back to the hips as we shift weight onto the front foot to go longer in our stance, if appropriate. If you're already at your max, you're already at your max. With our hands on our hips, we can steer our hips front. They're not going to get there, but you want to feel that energetic action of the back hip moving front, front hip moving back. And you get a nice stretch on the inside of the thigh of the back leg. From here, 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb, stretching out our wrists as you try to touch the front of our wrists. And then I'll invite you to circle those bird beaks for 1, and 2, and 3. Taking those circles the other way, 1, and 2, and 3. Now bringing those bird beaks onto your shoulders, relaxing the shoulders and squaring the heart front. Now finding a clasp of the fingers behind the head, pressing the head into the hands, elbows wide to the side. Open heart, open throat. You might lift the chin just a little bit. Nice. Keeping that openness in heart and throat chakra, stretching those hands high to the sky. From here with the breath, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, palms face back as we gather up the energy. On the exhale, cactus arms as we offer it out. Let's do that 6 times. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in, breathing out. Last two. Breathing in, breathing out. Last one. Breathing in, breathing out, and holding warrior one with cactus arms. The elbows move back, the wrists come with, and I'll invite you to ripple those fingers, keeping those hands supple. And let's sneak in a quick warrior three. As hands find the hips, we spin the back 11. That's more thighs than hips. Hips are here, aren't they? Yeah, there you go. A little more stable, I think. You'll take a big step in, and then we'll start to play with balancing on this front leg out from the center of camera. Nice. This could be your warrior three. Big toe light on that back foot. The big toe can always come down. If you want more, pitching the body forward as we lengthen through the legs. Hands can stay on the hips, or we can stretch them towards that back foot. Awesome. Maybe finding your airplane arms out to the side. Take your time. Now the classic exposition is we stretch those hands in front as if you're holding a large glass ball and then lifting the face to look through that ball. The hands in front come back to the heart. Hard hands become hip hands. And then landing that back foot lightly as we come back to warrior one prep. And take your time. From warrior one prep, let's use those hands on our hips to turn warrior one hips into warrior two hips as we spin the hips out to the side. I'm going to ask you to switch direction on the mat so people can see your face. Yeah. There you go. There you go. Awesome. So warrior one hips face front, become warrior two hips. We spin them out to the side. You might kick the back foot in just a little bit. Classically, it's heel to arch alignment. And then finding one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that mixture of effort and ease. From here, painting rainbows. Straightening front leg without locking the knee, breathing in, palm faces back as we collect the energy. On the exhale, back to warrior two as we offer it out. And let's do that 6 times. Breathing in and breathing out. Inhale it up. Exhale. Be as liquid as you can. Breathing in and breathing out. 2 more to go. Breathing in and breathing out. Last one here. Breathing in, and I'll invite you to hold the reverse warrior, reaching up a little higher, reaching down a little further, finding more space on that lateral front line, and breathing into that space. From here, turning the reverse warrior back into warrior two as we rebend that front knee. From here, cycling through to the triangle. Thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. We're going to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. I'm a little teacup, short and stout. And then you're going to grounding bottom hand down on your shin. I'll invite you to line the thumb up with the shin bone to open up that bottom shoulder a little bit. Top hand opens up top shoulder. And then stretching hand high to the sky. Nice. As we hold the shape with every in-breath, our diaphragm stretches down towards the navel, breathing into our center of balance. It's a big ball of energy right here. And it's a ball, so it's all sides, front, back, side to side. As you breathe out, as the diaphragm relaxes and domes up to the heart, sending energy out through both arms, both legs, both ends of the spine. Now working that top lateral line. As we exhale that top hand front, turning our heart to the ground. On the inhale, lifting hand high as we spin heart to the sky. We'll do that 6 times. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale. And inhale. We're halfway done. Exhale. And inhale. Last 2 here. Exhale. And inhale. Last one. Exhale. And hold. Long through the back leg. Long through that side waist. Long through the arms. And I'll invite you to ripple those fingers. Now the bottom hand joins. We take that little quarter twist out of the torso. Take your time as we inhale up. And exhale over. Inhale up. And exhale over. We'll do this 6 times. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Let's do two more. Breathing in. And breathing out. Last one here. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. And then I'll invite you to hold this shape as you reach. So keep framing the arms with the ears. That's it. Long through both sideways, long through those arms. And again, I'll invite you to ripple those fingers. From here, moving towards the half moon balance challenge. Top hand finds the hip. We'll take a big step in. Right hand off to the right, setting your base. And then lifting that back leg any amounts. Either keeping that hand on hip or it opens up that top shoulder. Maybe it stretches high to the sky. Awesome, yes. So you hand to the sky. And just so you know, you want to get back up just a little bit here. And then you'll be more in frame. Nice, beautiful. And as you hold the shape, I'm going to give you the same breath cue. As you breathe in, finding that big ball of energy in the center of yourself. And as you breathe out from that place of balance, from that place of power, connecting the center of yourself to the periphery of the room. I'm going to ask you to land a short stance. Top hand finds the hip, back foot comes down, shifting the weight into the feet, no big deal. And then finding a long stance as you shift weight onto the front foot and step that back foot back. From our warrior two shape, I'll invite you to find a big windmill of the arms as we find our low lunge, spinning back heel up. And from here, back to down dog as you will. So stay on the right side and we'll work in a swan sequence here. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Keeping right shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight. We'll stack the hips and hold. So right hip on top of left, that's it. Now bending that top leg, we'll hold that, just seeing how that hip feels. And now we're going to sweep that right knee through to right wrist, keeping the knee joint closed. Walking left foot back as we settle our hips at the same rate down towards the floor. When you can't settle anymore, I'll invite you to unfurl the foot, tops of the toes down, stabilizing the shape. Finding the tips of 10 fingers as we establish that connection of the shoulder blades onto rib shelf. Open heart, open throat. You might lift the chin just a little bit. And then keeping that openness, leading with the heart, just like in the sun salves. Spider those fingers front. As the swan takes a nap. Take your time, find more length in the spine. When you can't walk any further, letting the pose relax. Now, if the forehead doesn't come easily to the floor, you could always cross the forearms or find a pair of soft fists. As we hold the sleeping swan, I'll invite you to put mind in hips. And even though the hips aren't going to move, stretching the hips away from each other as you find more space and the center of yourself. And again, we can hold the pose in stillness, or you might add a little micro movement. I always think of a roulette ball trying to find its slot. And once it finds that slot, the ball spins with the wheel. From the sleeping swan, I'll ask you to walk the fingers back. You want to reestablish that connection of shoulders onto rib shelf. Open heart, open throat. Now we're going to connect root chakra, pelvic floor, with second chakra, breath diaphragm, and second chakra with third chakra, which is the diaphragm at the top, the base of our heart. As we draw everything up to lift the arms up to the sky. Take your time for the flying swan. Nice, yeah. This is a great way to get lots of good things moving in our bodies in the morning. From the flying swan, spinning the palms out, and we'll ground down through two hands, and make sure your base is solid. As you tuck the back toes, And we're going to come back to our three-legged dog as we lift that right leg high. Keeping the knee joint closed, excellent. Now carefully opening up that knee, maybe give that knee a little shake, just inviting a little circulation, not too hard. Let it be an invitation. And then ground it down through 2 feet. And either holding your down dog or cycling through vinyasa, yogi's choice. Depending on where your energy level is, sometimes you want to do the extra push-ups. Sometimes in the morning that feels great. Other times you want to be a little more relaxed, a little more measured in our practice. So let's move towards our second side. So big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky for the three-legged dog. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is. Actually, find a little lift of the right toes, stretching out that Achilles tendon, high on the right toes, yeah. Lifted leg straight, we're going to stack the hips, holding it for a breath. Keep that shoulder grounded. Now bending the leg, opening up that hip, holding that, just noticing how that feels. And then looking between the hands as we bring that left foot through, spinning the back heel down as we find our warrior one. Arms up and over the head. From warrior one, let's bring hands back to hips as we lengthen our stance. And I might actually, we'll see where you end up, but I might have you switch directions again so we can see your face. Yeah, so find your warrior one. So left foot front, right foot back. There you go. With our hands on our hips, they're not going to get there. We're going to steer our hips front, back hip front, front hip back. You'll get a nice stretch on the inside of the thigh of that back leg. 4 fingers find the tip of a thumb. We'll stretch out our wrists as we try to touch the front of our wrists. Now circling those bird beaks for 1, and 2, and 3. Taking those bird beaks the other way for 1, and 2, and 3. Now bringing those bird beaks onto our shoulders, relaxing our shoulders and squaring the heart front. Now switching the clasp of the fingers, so walking the fingers one over, and then bringing the hands to the back of the head. Pressing the head into the hands, elbows wide to the side, open heart, open throat. Keeping that openness in heart and throat chakra, 4th and 5th chakra, we'll stretch those hands high to the sky. From here with the breath, gathering up the energy, exhaling, offering it out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in and breathing out. Last 2 here. Breathing in and breathing out. Last 1. Breathing in, breathing out, and holding. Elbows move back. The wrists come with, rippling those fingers, keeping our hands supple. Nice. From here, we'll sneak in the Warrior 3 Balance Challenge. Hands find the hips. Spinning the back heel up, we'll take a big step in. Now your Warrior 3 could just be a very simple balance challenge, just seeing what it's like to stand on 1 foot. That big toe can always come back down to the ground. If you're feeling a little bit more balanced, we'll start to pitch the body forward as we lengthen through the legs. Hands can stay on hips, or we'll stretch those hands towards the back foot. We can find our airplane arms, arms out to the side. Now stretching those hands in front and lifting the face to look through those hands as if you're looking through a large glass ball. Awesome. Hands in front come back to the heart. Heart hands become hip hands. Hip hands. Your hips a little higher. And then we'll land that back foot lightly as we find our Warrior 1 prep. Yeah, take your time. With our hands on our hips, we're going to turn Warrior 1 hips into Warrior 2 hips as we steer our hips sideways. And we can narrow the stance. Classically, it's heel to arch alignment. If that's too tight, you can always work a little bit lighter. From here, we're going to move towards our Warrior 2, right, one long arm. Now painting rainbows, straightening the front leg without locking the knee, gathering up the energy on the exhale back to Warrior 2. And breathing in, lifting up. Exhaling, Warrior 2. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in Inhaling up. Exhaling. 2 more to go. Breathing in as you find the energy. Exhaling as you offer it out. Last one here. We'll hold. Inhale and hold. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding more space in that lateral front line and breathing into that space. Finding more space between each rib. And then turning the reverse warrior back into warrior 2. From here, transitioning to triangle. Thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. We deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. I'm a little teacup, short and stout. Pour me over. And how's it go?
I'm a little teacup, short and stout. Here is my handle.
Here is my spout.
When I get all steamed up, hear me shout. Just tip me over and pour me out.
Kathy's was a children's librarian. So
maybe someday I'll
maybe
be
someday
able to,
you'll get back there.
That's my dream.
Thumbs in line with the sternum here. Nice openness in bottom shoulder. Top hand opens up top shoulder and then stretches hand high to the sky. As we hold the triangle, breathing into that ball of energy that's the center of yourself. All the digestive processes there, like a little fire inside us as we burn up our food and turn it into energy. It's also anatomically the center of ourself. So different levels here. And as you breathe out, sending energy out through the arms, the legs, both ends of the spine. Now working that top lateral line. As we exhale that top hand front, turning heart to the floor. Inhaling, lifting it up. Exhale. And inhale. Keep it loose. Exhale. And inhale. Let it flow. 3 more times. Exhale. And inhale. Last 2. Exhale. And inhale. Last 1. Exhale and hold. Back leg long, back leg strong. Long through the arm, the fingers, on the way to ripple those fingers. Now the bottom hand joins, we're going to take that little quarter twist out of the torso. Arms are going to frame the ears. Yeah, even higher on that bottom. Yeah, so pretend like almost equidistant here. And not, yeah, and then up. And over. It's all about your side waist. Inhale it up. Exhale it over. Try to keep the legs just as they are. Inhale it up. Exhale it over. We're halfway done. Inhale it up. Exhale it over. Last 2. Breathing it up. Exhale it over. Inhale it up. Exhale it over. And then I'll invite you to hold this shape as we reach again, rippling those fingers. You might feel like you're holding a big ball here. And then moving towards the half moon. Top hand finds the hip. We take a big step in as we ground down through that left hand. And you're right in the center camera. Awesome. Lifting back leg, take your time. Opening up top shoulder. Stretching hand high to the sky. Awesome. This is another signature pose, just so you know. Looks great. Again, breathing into that ball of energy. From that place, connecting the center of yourself to the periphery of the room. Now hand finds the hip as we land a short stance. Back foot comes down, no big deal. Shifting the weight into the feet as we come on up. Hands find the hips, so hips. And then you'll find your warrior 2 legs as you take a big step back. And then 1 long arm. From here, a big windmill of the arms as you find your low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time. And we'll work that swan sequence, second side. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky. High in the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is. Lift your leg straight. We'll stack the hips and hold. Now bending that top leg and holding. Now keeping the knee joint closed as we sweep left knee to left wrist. and then walking that right foot back as you settle the hips at the same rate. When you can't go any longer, unfurling the foot to stabilize the shape, tops of the toes down, that means the toenails. 10 fingers, finding the tips of 10 fingers, we're going to settle the shoulder blades back and down onto rib shelf, open heart, open throat, you might lift the chin just a little bit. And then keeping that sense of space in the spine, leading with the heart as you spider those fingers front. If you take your time, you'll get a nice back stretch here. Almost like laying a rope down onto a deck. You want to lay that spine down and find a little more space between each vertebrae. When you can't walk anymore, relaxing into the shape. If the forehead comes down to the ground, awesome. If not, you could always raise the ground with a cross of the forearms or a pair of soft fists. As we hold this shape, either holding in stillness or maybe adding a little movement. And then I'll suggest an action, and you won't be able to see anything because your hips aren't actually going to move, but you'll feel like your hips are stretching away from each other as you find more space in the center of yourself. And breathing into that space. From the arms in extension, I'll invite you to spider them back, or just coming back to this place. The swan's going to take flight here. We've had a little nap. We've gathered up our energy. Tips of 10 fingers, settling the shoulder blades back and down. And then we're going to lift the pelvic diaphragm up to breath diaphragm up towards heart diaphragm, first, second, and third chakra. As we float those hands high to the sky. And this will definitely get lots of good stuff moving in the morning. Lifting the chin, open heart, open throat, awesome. Lifting the eyes to the sky. There's nowhere to go but up. The day has begun. Yes. Awesome. I tell someone's going to have a good day. Whoa. Sometimes we have crashing down. And then sweeping hands back down. We'll ground down through the palms. Yeah. Tucking the back toes, lifting the left leg. Keep the knee joint closed. It doesn't have to be too vigorous here. Just opening up the knee joint, inviting a little more circulation. Maybe give it a little movement here. And then when you're ready, straight leg. As you ground down through two legs. And then last opportunity this morning. You can either cycle through vinyasa, hold your down dog, maybe you sneak in a child's pose. Finding a way to work that works for your breath, your body, your energy level. And that's what it's all about. Yeah, and if you're in down dog, I'll invite you to find a child's pose. If you're in a child's pose, finding a child's pose. Initially working palms down, but then I'll invite you to spin the palms up. As we rotate the armpits in, seeing how those shoulders feel. And let's work. Hands are going to look the same, but the opposite rotation of the shoulders. So palms down, and then spinning the palms up as we rotate the armpits out. And you've worked very hard. So spinning the palms down, I'll invite you to walk the hands back as you bring your feet off to one side. We'll find two long legs in front, and we'll invite you to come to the top of the mat so your head has something soft to land on when you get down. We'll do a long, slow roll down. So starting from your neutral spine, back of the head is in line with the sacrum. Frankenstein arms, palms face down. Now finding C-spine as you tuck tail and chin and slowly roll yourself down. Slow. Again, think about laying that rope on a deck. Maybe you might imagine pearls onto a cushion as we lay each vertebrae down. Nice and slow. When we get down, take your time. I'll invite you to find a full body stretch. Arms overhead, low back's going to lift. And then on an exhale, sweeping hands by your side, widening your thighs, scooting your head back as you flatten your shoulders. Doing whatever else feels right and good for you this morning as we find our Shavasana. Tip of the tongue is now neutral in the mouth. A slight part to the lips, but still breathing in and out through your nose. too long. At home, certainly feeling free to hold your Shavasana as long as you'd like. For the purposes of this Facebook Live class, I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. I'll invite you to move your mind before you move your body. Just bringing your attention back to your breath, watching as it flows in and out. Like watching a river as the river flows by. Now shaping your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation, followed by an even longer, slower exhalation. Varying the ratio between the inhale and the exhale as we find a more relaxing breath. Keeping this relaxing breath, gently rippling fingers and toes as we invite more life force into our bodies. Inviting that life force in towards center as we circle wrists and ankles. I'll invite you to find a little shimmer of the shoulders, a little shake of the hips, whatever feels right and good for you as you connect with your own innate sense of well-being. Let me give one cue before you do that. Pressing your low back into the mat to engage the core to support the action of the legs. Keeping the core engaged as we draw one knee in and then the other knee follows. One knee at a time is a little safer, just so you know. And here comes the other one. And then hands catch the shins. You want to do some ab work, oh my gosh. And I'll invite you to gently lift and lower the low back and hips as you use your thighs to massage your center of balance, your belly. Front to back, side to side, whatever feels right and good for you. And let's play with that rolling like a ball again. I think we'll play with this a lot more. So reaching back with a hand to lift and tuck the chin. You want to keep the neck relaxed. You let your hand do the work. Chin stays tucked as the hand comes back to the chin. Get yourself tight, tight, tight here. Your little ball. You're going to start to rock it front to back. Rock it front to back. Maybe go a little bit bigger. If you need to use the legs, use the legs. As we hop on up and find a cross-legged sit. I'll ask you to face the camera. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, heels of the hands find the thighs. Pushing the thighs away as we sit up a little bit straighter, a little bit taller. A slight tuck of the chin as 2 hands find the heart. Ending our practice as we started, just watching as our breath flows in and out. From this place of breath awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga. And as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world, the light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us.
Thank you, everyone.
And thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me. And we'll see you all real soon. And I love how namaste, an Indian word that means what I just said, the light within me and all that stuff, also sounds like have a nice day. And we'll see you all real soon.
Namaste.